Hello, welcome back to our TCAP commentary. Today we're gonna do Doctor Maurice Wolin's Interrogation. Now, I know I've already done this one, right? I know I've already interviewed early seen Maurice Wolin's entire police interrogation, but I feel like I rushed it. I truly feel like the first time I did it, I rushed it. It wasn't very good. I split it into two parts when realistically this video should have never been split to begin with. So we're gonna do him again, with this time actually me paying attention. I remember last time I did him, I talked too much, so you're gonna see less of that in this video, and hopefully you enjoy it, right? If you like to catch better, check out the channel. I have so many of these videos. I have a lot of police interrogations too that I review too. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. It's very late at night, so I'm like kind of whispering, but I don't know. I feel like doing something. I was gonna sit here essentially, trying to sleep for an hour and not get anywhere. So we're doing this, and let's continue, right? Let's just continue.
Have a seat right there.
It's currently 2 in the morning, by the way.
Explain to you what's going on.
I'm in my bed too, so.
Okay. Like I said, my name's Steve Nelson, detective with the Petaluma Police Department.
Steve Nelson.
First thing I'm going to do is explain to you your Miranda rights, okay? Okay. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to the presence of an attorney before and during any questioning. And if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you free of charge before any questioning if you want. Okay?
Yeah, so we're going across the Miranda rights. Very basic. I am aware of, because I've seen this before, but I'm aware that Maurice really combats the idea of getting a lawyer. And it's not smart for him to have hesitated so much about getting a lawyer. He really should have gotten one from the start, but I'm glad he didn't. We managed to get a little bit of info and a little bit of video out of him. Him trying to explain himself off and honestly getting into more trouble than he should have been when visiting. So yeah.
So, I'd like to talk about what happened.
Should probably sit up a little bit more.
Let me just want to just confirm some information about you. Your name is Maurice Wolin. Okay. If I can have you verbalize.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And you live at 304
Scenic Avenue.
in Piedmont?
Yes.
Okay. And your birth date is 2/28 of 58?
Correct.
Okay. What or screen name do you use?
They're getting started really quick. I think this is something that the Steve, is his name Steve? Well, Detective Nelson should have not pushed on first. Maybe he is just trying to confirm his identity. I understand that, but he should have not brought up the investigation first, because now he's being more defensive than he should have been. If there was more questions about how he's doing, maybe what he works as, maybe how, whatever, just anything that does not involve the case would have been good enough. It would have definitely built a better rapport with the suspect, right, with Nelson and Maurice Wolin. It would have helped a lot more. So it's a misstep, I think.
I really need to have an attorney, I think, present.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, see.
Can you tell me what's going to happen?
What's going to happen? You're being charged with, I believe, attempt lewd acts with a child under the age of 14 and burglary.
Burglary?
Yes. Okay.
Stealing what?
By entering the dwelling that you did. Okay. So at that point, I'm going to bring you back over to booking. You'll be transported to the Sonoma County
Am
Sheriff's.
I going to jail?
Yeah.
And this is something that interests me a lot, because I don't remember too much about the interrogation itself. But one thing that does fascinate me about this is that Maurice Wolin really fixates on the burglary charge. I was explained to by some comments when I posted the first version that it essentially just means that he entered a household or someone's property without getting permission from the owner or something like that. I'm not too familiar with laws, and I understand that Maurice Wolin says he didn't steal anything, but it doesn't need to be theft necessarily of like an item. At least what I was told. So him just entering a house or an environment that he's not supposed to be in apparently counts as that.
Okay.
From what I know.
Steve, I've never done anything wrong.
Steve
in my life.
Nelson.
Ever. You know my record.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. It really does not matter.
I've never had more than a traffic ticket.
Okay.
What happens when I get to the Sonoma County Jail?
They'll talk to you whether you can arrange bail or anything like that. Other than that, you'd probably be in jail until Tuesday for arraignment.
Wow.
I didn't do anything. What did I steal?
Okay, that's what I told you. It's not about stealing.
What did I?
Okay.
What did I take?
Okay, let me just stop you for a second. You asked to talk to an attorney.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to discuss this further because I can't. Okay, unless you want to waive your right to have an attorney present.
This was a very good play by Detective Nelson, telling him that he cannot give his answers that he so desperately wants unless he waives his rights is a very good play. I don't believe it's like, some people might think that's like manipulation, right? To like kind of like a trade-off, like, hey, if you waive your rights and talk to me, I'll tell you what you want. I understand that is kind of what's happening, but Nelson is right in the fact that he, there's absolutely no reason why he would want to talk with Maurice and, help him in any form if it's not going to help the investigation. So if Maurice wants Nelson to tell him something he wants to know, he has to waive his rights. And I'm sure he does, right? Because we still have a lot of the video left. But, it's an interesting play that he pulls, right? He doesn't give him any answers. He wants to talk. He wants to figure out what is going to happen to him. And the only way that'll happen is that if he talks. So.
Can I call my wife?
You will be able to make a call later on.
I need to call her now.
Okay. I'm not going to base this on... Do you still want to have an attorney present?
It's good that he brought back the question. See, now he's thinking about it.
I will answer what I can.
It's not a definite yes, by the way. He's not waiving his
So
rights.
again, I just want to make this clear that you do not wish to have an attorney present, that you want to talk to me about what happened today.
But I may decline to answer if I think it's incriminating.
Okay. Maurice.
I'm
I'm not going to play games
I'm
here.
not playing games. I'm scared out of my mind.
Right. And I understand that.
You saw my record. I've never done anything wrong in my life.
Okay.
And now I'm being charged.
I don't remember what happens after this, but it would be a good play if Nelson tries to sympathize with Maurice when he says that he is, afraid because he's never been in any form of trouble. And as Nelson is telling him, right, he can't play games when it comes to something like this because it is a waste of time to talk with him if he isn't going to deliberately waive his rights. With him not physically and verbally saying, I am going to waive my rights, or I waive my rights to an attorney, or even in paper, it does not count. He can't just say, I'll answer what I can, because that's not a deliberate answer.
Charged with very serious offenses.
Okay. There's rules I have to go by. The fact that you've asked to speak to an attorney, okay, I have to visit that, and I have to respect your constitutional rights.
All right, let's talk.
Okay. So I just want to clear, you want to talk to me without the presence of an attorney.
But I'm also making clear that I'm not going to answer things that I think could damage me in my case.
What screen name do you go by?
I used...
I I like this is all based off of me. I have no training in any form, to be an interrogator at all. I'm sure you're aware, right? But I would have not brought that up again first. I would have maybe started off with, tell me your reason for being in Petaluma today, or something along the lines, right? Tell me about your day. How did it end up to this moment? I think that would have been a better position than to put him in a situation where he denied to talk with the interrogator. But we got there at the end, so it doesn't matter.
Tall, dreamy dog.
Okay.
Tall, dreamy
Is
dog.
that a Yahoo
Yes.
website? Okay. Okay.
Little thing. This information, I'm sure they are already aware of. It is a little bit futile to write it down. This isn't some new information that they have. They know what name that he has already. It might just be used for confirmation, right? We'll say that, Maurice, you tell us what your username is, so they can correlate Maurice with the chat logs that they have.
Why did you come to the house in Petaluma today?
Should have started with that.
I was curious.
Okay. Curious about what?
I chatted with someone online. She had asked to meet me on several occasions. I declined. Then today again she asked. I had a little bit of time, not very much,
Okay.
because I have to be home to pick my wife up. And so I thought I would come out and meet her and nothing more.
Okay. And how old was the person you were chatting with?
I'm not sure.
How old did she tell you?
I don't remember.
You don't know? You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I know she was young, and I know that.
Under 18?
I'm not sure.
Okay. How old are you?
48.
48? Okay. Do you remember the name of the person that you were coming to visit?
Willow.
Willow? The male, female?
Female.
Female, okay. And what location were you coming to?
I don't remember the address.
Do you remember the street name?
I don't. It was in Petaluma.
See, this is a very good line of questioning. It's placing Maurice Wolin with the decoy that they set up, and it's a very good tactic that he's pulling. He wants to confirm that Maurice Wolin was here for a specific reason. With him asking him his username is a very good ploy. And I've already said this, but to place him with the chat logs. Let's say they would have asked him, what is your username? And Maurice Wolin says something completely different. He would have been able to deny that it was him altogether. I know it's a very, out there excuse to be like, hey, this just wasn't me at all. It's a very, out there defense, but it could have helped him, I guess, protect himself a little bit more. But the line of questioning is very good. The chat logs is what they're focusing on, and it's a good line of questioning.
I don't remember the address.
Do you remember the street name?
I don't. It was in Petaluma.
Okay. Did you write it down, directions, or anything that you...
I'd written it down earlier when she gave it to me.
Okay. Is that in your car?
I don't know.
All right. And what made you think that the girl was under the age of 18?
She was young. I don't remember exactly what she said. I do know that I didn't intend to do anything because I didn't have any time, and I was, to be quite honest with you, just curious.
Okay. When you were chatting with her, do you remember her screen name?
I'm not positive. She messaged me a couple times too.
Okay. Okay. What I'd like to do is maybe I can refresh your memory. Did you ever talk about what kind of things did you talk about in the chats?
Just playing.
What kind of playing?
Just talking.
Okay.
I don't remember the specifics.
See, it's a very good thing that Detective Nelson is leaving these questions to be open-ended. It's a very common thing that detectives use, and it's honestly the only way you could really move an interrogation forward and have the suspect kind of, give the suspect a stage for them to tell their story. It's not necessarily a case of like trying to find a something that could pin them down, but it's more like letting them dig their own grave in a sense, because for what I'm seeing right now is that the detective is really trying to place Maurice in the knowledge of the girl that he was going to meet, of her being underage. You just saw that Detective Nelson was asking him multiple times, how young she thought she was and what was the age, what did he think the age of the girl was. It's very confrontational in a sense, but not accusatory. And I feel like if he keeps this up, he won't get anywhere else other than him just, I guess, denying and saying that he doesn't remember.
Do you remember when you started chatting with her? What date?
It was either yesterday or the day before.
So yesterday would have been the
Oh, wait.
25th.
Maybe yesterday.
25th. Do you remember talking to her on the 23rd of August? So that would have been Wednesday?
No.
Okay.
Did I?
Yeah, there's chats here. You're talking tall, dreamy, /Doc. That's you. Okay, talking with Willow Filipino.
I don't remember it being on. She wanted me to come visit her,
Okay.
and I didn't want to come.
What name do you use besides tall, dreamy Doc? Do
Maybe.
you use another name? Like a false name that you use when you meet people?
I have a nickname.
What's that?
Mo or Marco.
Marco? Okay.
Mo or Marco.
And then if you told her that you were Marco in San Francisco, that would have been accurate?
I suppose, yeah.
Okay.
See, now he just placed them in the chat logs again. It's understandable what Detective Nelson is doing. I do understand that he wants to place him essentially at the scene of the crime. Makes sense. But so far, we haven't seen much of anything else. We've only seen essentially him confirming his chat logs. And I know that is a very important step to place him as the suspect. But we have seen a couple of these interrogations where they managed to get more information out of these people, as the discussion proceeds. I understand that the ones that we have seen, they're not as smart as someone like Maurice Wolin. Maurice Wolin is a full-blown doctor. I think he was head of cancer research at a hospital or something along the lines like that. He's 48, right? He has his doctorate. He's a very intelligent person. Of course, not when it comes to meeting minors online, but he is fully aware of consequences and what to look out for. We have seen people in the past like Dustin McFedridge, Jeff Sokol, who genuinely disregard, what danger and what harm a interrogation with the police could bring. And the way how Maurice has set himself up is him not remembering a single thing from the chat log. He only answers things that are very open-ended. He can make his own narrative, but when he is confronted by things that are supposed to be factual, he always denies it by saying he doesn't know or he just doesn't remember. Very typical, suspect behavior, but his apprehension or his weariness in a sense to not answer is more of a smarter person thing to do. So that's what I'm saying. He's just smarter than most suspects.
And on August 24th, you're chatting with her, and you tell her, I'm Marco, by the way, in San Francisco. She said, thanks, I'm Willow. Okay. I'm in the 707. I'm 13, female. what's your ASL? And then you say, oh goodness, I'm 29, sorry. Is that accurate?
I don't remember.
But would that be accurate that you...
I don't remember.
I mean, does anybody else use your computer?
I don't know. I don't remember those words. I don't remember her
Okay.
age.
But obviously you knew she was under the age of 18, so
I
knew that
knew she was
somehow.
young.
Okay.
Very interesting exchange that they just had. It seems very simple on the surface, but if you really, and I don't really like pulling these interrogations back, but I really just want to capture what just happened, because they had a discussion there about, you know, the facts of, you know, I'm getting it mixed up, but how no one uses his computer, and he doesn't remember saying that he was 29. Let me just...
I don't remember.
I mean, and then you say, oh goodness, I'm 29, sorry. Is that accurate?
I don't remember.
But would that be accurate that you...
I don't remember.
I mean, does anybody else use your computer?
I don't know. I don't remember those words. I don't remember her
Okay.
age.
But obviously you knew she was under the age of 18, so
I
knew that
knew she
somehow.
was young.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So ASL, I like, before a lot of the TCAP things that I saw, I did not know necessarily what that was. But ASL, if you're not aware, it means age, sex, and location. And Willow, the decoy, said that she was, you know, she lived where we're at right now, of course. They're in a police van, right? They're in like an RV thing right outside the Sting house. She says she's 13, lives here. In response, Maurice says he's Marco or Mo, I forgot which one he picked, and said that he was 29 or 20, yeah, 29, which is crazy to think, because Maurice is 48 years old. He's claiming to be 20 years younger to someone he met online. Like, I understand that it's not uncommon for people to lie about their ages, you know, when watching some of these TCAP things, but the way Maurice looks, you could never claim that this man is 29 years old. That is outrageous. You know what I mean? So for someone who is nearly 50 years old, he's trying to come off as someone who's 30 years old. You know, 2 decades younger than what he actually is.
Did you ask her if she dated older guys?
I don't remember.
Did you talk to her about touching and kissing and making each other feel good?
I remember she saying that she had trouble finding somebody to make her feel good.
Okay.
I was playing with her.
Nasty.
And then you typed to her, I wouldn't stop until you came over and over.
I remember saying that.
Yeah, I'm sorry for pausing it too much, but now he has definitely switched the tone of what he is aiming for. I will say Detective Nelson's approach is extremely confrontational. I feel like this is a very dangerous play. You know, mind you, I have no idea how interrogations work. You know what I mean? I watch the true crime ones. You know, I'm just like an online psychologist, whatever it's called. But I feel like it's too confrontational to the point where, as defensive as Maurice already is, and how easy he was to say that he wanted a lawyer up, he shouldn't be too confrontational, right? He's reading things from the chat logs, which are obviously true. You know what I mean? These are irrefutable things to say that, oh, I didn't know she said this, or I didn't know she said that. The chat logs essentially are the strongest thing to play when it comes to the actual, you know, what's it called? Prosecution of these guys. I feel like he should be asking other things other than him asking him if he remembers typing certain things to this decoy, because his response to every single one of these like attacks essentially on Maurice is going to be I don't know or I don't remember. We have just seen it, you know, for the past 3-4 questions he's been asked, you know, about the chat logs, and all he has said is I don't remember. And it is definitely, you know, a push that Nelson is pulling on Maurice that is not working. So he needs to change his strategy right here.
I remember saying that.
you talked to her about kissing her chest?
I don't remember.
Just a question, a phone number, 510-402-4023. Where's that?
One of my clients.
Okay, so it was just a phony number you gave?
No, wasn't phone.
Okay, so it's a real number? It's a way to get a hold of you?
No, it's. I don't know. I don't know what number it was. I mean, it's not my home, my cell.
What's your cell?
415 244 14.
See, very interesting, because now it has turned into this discussion about his phone numbers. I'm sure maybe at some point Maurice maybe gave his phone number to the decoy, but it's just confirming what I said a couple of minutes ago. Was Maurice's defense for most of these things that he deems very accusatory and very pushing on his innocence. He's going to claim he doesn't remember, right? A lot of it apparently he just forgot. It's very typical behavior from a suspect. We see it every single time, where they truly deny almost everything. I understand that. That's why you need to pin them in a corner in a way where it's like you put, if they want to spin a narrative so much, they have to focus on so many things that they're lying about that they cannot hold a lie. And that is the easiest way to get someone to trip up on a narrative that they have built. And as of now, truthfully, Maurice hasn't really built a narrative that Nelson could break down. Truthfully, all he has said is that he talked with the girl, that he said he didn't want to show up, but he had a little bit of time, so he showed up just to say hi. That's his story. We have seen other guys in the past that have built a more elaborate lie, that have kind of have had their lies being, spun off and then destroyed almost immediately. A guy that I don't think we've seen. I don't think his interrogation footage is out there, but one of them is what's his name? Oh my god, the Michael Gentile from the Hansen versus Predator investigation. He builds up a story that says, I know this isn't on subject, but he builds a story that says that the person he was going to meet was a 30 or 40-year-old woman that lives with their parents. And when he is asked what they talked about, Michael Gentile says that they talked about school and parents. And then the detective immediately pounces on that and says, what 30 or 40-year-old lives with their parents, and who, does a 30 or 40-year-old still go to school, right? And he has no defense to that. And that's where his story just completely evaporates, and he is left with nothing but a lie. An easily detectable lie. For Maurice's case, they need to get more information that isn't built on whether he remembers things from his chat logs. I know I just said that, but there isn't anything happening really. There's nothing happening.
1422.
Officer Nelson, can I call my wife?
Okay, you'd be able to call her when we're done. Okay. So do you remember when she gave you the address of where she lived?
No, but I know she wanted me to come yesterday, and I told her I wouldn't.
Okay. And how was she? Did she tell you how she was able to have you come over?
She was alone.
Okay. Do you know where her parents were?
I can't remember. She said her mother went away or something.
Okay. How about her father?
I don't know.
Okay.
She begged me to come over. I mean, I don't know how you guys. I mean, if you read, when I told her I wouldn't come, she said she was begging me to come.
Okay. On August 24th, so that would have been Thursday. You said, Willow, I would like to, but I could get in trouble. Meaning,
Yeah.
for her coming
Yeah.
over. Okay, so that's accurate. You said that?
I don't remember.
Okay. And then you told her, no, I'm real, but you're under 18 and I'm over. We would have to be so careful.
I don't remember saying that, but I told her that she needed to be. I was concerned about her. She needed to be careful.
Okay.
See, that is misplaced worry on Maurice's behalf, right? He is, of course, lying. But when he says that he's over 18 and she is under, I mean, straight up, he just said that, right? I didn't catch it, but when he says, they have to be careful because if they're not, they will get in trouble. It is a little bit of a grooming behavior when they say something like that along the lines. We have seen people in the past that have said things like that, where it's like, oh, you can't tell anyone, you can't even trust your friends, your family, anything like that. It has to be the two of us that know, right? He wants to make sure that the person he is talking with is not going to talk to anyone else about this, and make sure he keeps it all under wraps. Make sure that the person he's talking with won't speak up or say anything that will get him in trouble. And of course, Maurice has a lot to lose. Maurice is a really decorated doctor. He has a wife. He has kids. I believe he has 2 or maybe 3 daughters. And he's trying to, I guess, cover all bases. Make sure he doesn't get in trouble.
Do you remember talking to her or asking her, do you like the French?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I just noticed something right there. Very, very amateur of Detective Nelson. I don't know. I mean, I'm like claiming a lot of things, but it's very amateurish, and I'm sure maybe you caught it, maybe you didn't. But he asked him he didn't ask him an open-ended question. He asked him essentially a yes or no question. Listen to this.
The French.
Told her that she
Listen,
needed to
listen,
I was
listen.
concerned about her. She needed to be careful.
Okay. Do you remember talking to her or asking her, do you like the French?
I don't remember.
You see that? Do you remember? Never start something off with that when talking to someone like this. Because what is the response they're going to give? I remember or I don't remember. It is a yes or no question. And in interrogations, it's not impossible, or it's not like, you're incapable of asking yes or no questions. But when your question base is a yes or no question, you won't get anywhere because most of it is going to be denial. You know what I mean? And I am claiming a lot of things, right? I understand, like, you're probably wondering, like, well, who am I to say things like this, right? But some of the analysis that I have seen online, they kind of, they shun that type of interrogation where it's a yes or no. I don't know what way he could have structured that, but definitely a yes or no structure, which should have not been a thought to be like, do you remember or do you not remember?
Do you remember talking to her or asking her, do you like the French?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you ever see a picture of her?
I think she has pictures.
Okay.
No.
So you commented about
Like that. That is an okay yes or no. Did you see pictures of her, right? Yes or no. That's okay.
her body looking
Yeah.
pretty hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember.
You ever see a picture of her?
I think she has pictures.
Okay.
No.
So you commented about her body looking
Yeah.
pretty hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember.
And then you asked her what bra size she wore, and she said 30B, but it kind of big on me right now. I'm still growing.
I don't remember her saying that.
Okay. And saying that you will kiss them.
I don't remember.
And also, like, I've also seen online that it's not a good idea to ask a suspect multiple questions and then get one response, because they will only remember the back half of the question, if that makes any sense. Because let's say if I ask you, what'd you do on Friday? Did you go, see football? What's the last thing you ate? Probably the thing you're gonna tell me is what you last ate. You're not gonna tell me, oh, I did this on Friday. Yeah, I did watch the game, and what I ate for breakfast was this. It's a lot of questions for you to answer every single one of them independently, and especially in a suspect environment, like in an interrogation environment, most suspects only remember the back half, and more that we just saw it. Maurice answered the last question he asked, even though he asked multiple questions. And I understand that it would be a very slow interrogation if you just kept letting them. If you ask one question and ask another question after they kept responding, but it's better to get good information than to get a bunch of no's. You know what I mean? It's better to get one nailed down detail from the suspect than to get just, a lot of no's. So
I remember. I don't remember her saying that.
Okay. Saying that you will kiss them.
I don't remember. I remember saying for her to be careful and she can get into trouble and she shouldn't be doing this.
Okay.
And that's why I didn't come. And the only reason I came today, I was curious, but I wasn't going to do anything. I had no intention to do anything. And if you read that, you can tell that over and over again I said.
okay, one thing, a good question that he could have asked right there that wouldn't be too confrontational would have been curious about what exactly, because he has not, I guess, explained or given a definition of what he was curious about. He could have been like, oh, I was curious if she was really 13. I was curious if she really was this nice girl. Curious if she was like how we talked online. You know what I mean? It would have been a lot better question than to keep on asking things from the chat logs.
Said that both I shouldn't come, she should be careful.
But I'm also reading, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about that you want her to take your pants off.
See, and correct me if I'm wrong, adding a little bit too many descriptors and I guess adjectives to what you're trying to say, it's a little bit of like cushioning. I understand, this it's just a human thing to do, but and it's also contradictory. I mean, he's like, oh, I know you're saying this, but it's a little bit of confrontational. Sometimes you have to be like that. You can't just be passive. I understand that, but I think at this point it's okay to be this confrontational. I mean, they're having a lot better discussion that they were having in the beginning of this video, and it has kind of picked up. It really has, but I don't know. I am unsure what to think about Detective Nelson. For like the number of detectives we've seen, it hasn't been too many. I think we've seen maybe 3, 4, 5 detectives. I like to think Detective Nelson is one of the weaker ones, but I'm not going to take any credit away from him because truthfully he's pinned up against someone who has denied everything and was not even willing to talk from the start. So but in my rankings, Detective Nelson isn't doing too well.
You're talking
But I respect him still, you know what I mean?
about that you want her to take your pants off.
When?
You talk about, what will you wear? I don't know whatever's clean, something sexy. And you said, will you take it off for me? And then you ask her that you want her to take her pants off also.
It was just
Now you can take mine off if you want.
I wasn't
So
going to
how do you want to do it?
I wasn't going to do anything.
Okay,
I'm
but
just
you're
telling.
here you're telling me you're concerned for her welfare.
But you read on, and I was playing with her. It was that was not appropriate. But then when you read on, I say over and over again that she shouldn't be doing this. I can't come see you. She begs me to come.
It's also putting a little bit of blame on the victim. Very common, especially in these that I've seen. But one thing that I'm noticing is that Nelson is just really combating what Maurice is saying. I understand that, it can't just, okay, this is the tactic that I think I would have gone with him. Like, let's say I'm Detective Nelson. I would have been like, look, you're saying all these things, but like, give me a reason why this was the case. Was she leading you on? What did you think was gonna happen? You know what I mean? Like, what was the reason for you being here? What did she promise you? Like, things like that. It's not uncommon for detectives to kind of put a little bit of blame on the victims sometimes. And it's not deliberate, and it's not without any remorse. It's more of a tactic than anything. Yeah, man, it would have been along the lines of like, here, like, help me out. Help me to understand why, we ended up in this position. Why is it that it looks like this? Because it doesn't look that good. We have no clue what you were going to do. What I mean? It just looks very bad. I want you to kind of explain why this happened. What I mean? Things like that. It would have been a lot better if he gave chance for Maurice to actually talk. As of now, truthfully, Maurice has only said, I don't know, and then explained his story again. And I've heard that one of the best things that someone can do in a interrogation room is allow the suspect to talk sorry, the most that they can, because with more words, I'm really stuttering here. With more words, the more information they give out. And if it would have been an open-ended question like, tell me why this happened, or why did she invite you, or what was the reason you believed you were showing up for? Those are good questions right there. Imagine if the reason why I was showing up is because I thought we could become friends, and then you grab off of that and then move towards a different subject or proceed that line of questioning. There hasn't been anything that Nelson has pulled out of Maurice that has led to a line of questioning. Truthfully, all Nelson has done is essentially read back his chat logs, which it really has not led to much, and I think he should have gone a different route.
Officer Nelson, I shouldn't have talked to her. You're right. I wasn't going to do anything.
Have you ever done this before?
No.
Never?
Never met a 13-year-old?
On the internet, yeah.
Never.
No. I mean, you told her you were a doctor.
And also, I know I'm pausing it a lot, but like, this is a lot of the meat of the interrogation. Him saying that, it gives Maurice more confidence. The last thing you want to do in an interrogation is give the suspect confidence on what they are saying. You want them to feel the least confidence they could ever feel with their story. What I mean? It would have been like, what? So you really just wanted to meet her and that's it? You really want me to think? You want me to believe that you were just gonna go look at her for a minute and leave? Then you're bringing down his story. It makes it seem ridiculous for him to essentially show up and do nothing and then leave. That's how you should do it. Him asking, have you done this before? The obvious answer is no, he's never done this before. What is he supposed to say? Yes, I have done this before. It just solidifies it in Maurice Wolin's head that he would never do something like this because he never has done it before. It's just giving Maurice more confidence to continue his lies.
Officer Nelson, you have to believe me. I would never have done anything to her.
Okay, Maurice, I'm just reading your chats, and you're talking about being concerned for her, and you're asking her, will you suck me? And I want you to taste me.
See, look, like as funny as it is, right? It's very confrontational. I would have never advised saying something like that, right? Because at that point, I would have been like, no, I would never do something like this. You know what? I just want a lawyer, and I want to end this because that is ridiculous. I would never say something like that. And the interrogation ends, and it's just I don't know. I understand Nelson. He tried his best. And I know it's easier for me to look at this for the second time, by the way. This is my second time seeing this. I understand I have, knowledge of knowing kind of where this goes to say these things. But for Nelson to be a professional, to do this, I feel like he should have had a little bit of more thought put behind what he was saying. It's very easy for me to sit here, in my bed and just be like, no, he did this wrong. Or he shouldn't have said this. Oh, he should have said this instead. I understand it's a little bit preachy, but as I'm trying to analyze this, I'm trying to see how we could have reached a point where Maurice would have said a lot more. Because we're almost done with we're 3/4 in, and there hasn't been any real information that has been said. So I'm trying to, I guess, find what could have gone differently.
I've done that.
Did you say that?
I don't remember.
Okay,
I don't remember, but I never would have done anything to her.
and then you
But-
show up. I mean, where do you live? Piedmont? How long did it take you to get here?
40 minutes.
Where's your wife right now?
At a party.
So where does she think you're at work?
No, I told her I would go out for a little while.
This was a good line of questioning. I do agree this was really good. But it seems like he is stopping. So I don't know.
Never would have done anything. I never had any
mean, don't you
intention.
think
I didn't
it's-
have time to do anything, first of all. Second, I think you can read a lot out of that. I agree. And I don't claim to have said all of it. But you also read that I didn't want to come, that she begged me to come over and over again. And I was curious. That was all.
So what would have happened if you saw her there?
Nothing.
So you drove 40 minutes from Piedmont to meet a 13-year-old.
I didn't know she was 13.
That nothing would have happened.
That's right.
I would have definitely worded that a little bit different. You know what I mean? I know I understand that I'm like essentially being like, you should have said what I would have said, right? He is going down the route that I wanted him to go down, but where he's like, oh, so you want me to think, or you want me to believe that you came over all this way, you drove 40 minutes to meet this girl for nothing. He should have been like, what, so you're gonna show up, stare at her, and then leave? Because that's very ridiculous. And Maurice would have definitely been like, no, that wasn't what I was going to do. And then you should have been like, then tell me what you were going to do, right? Because if you're saying you're going to do nothing, then that just means you're just going to stare at her. And that's just it's very ridiculous for someone to try to convince you of that. So Maurice would have had to maybe even say more if he doesn't just want to say, I wasn't going to do anything, and just leave it at that. Because truthfully, when someone has a defense of, I wasn't going to do anything, and I wasn't going to do anything, they could just keep saying that for almost everything they're being asked. But, Detective Nelson almost had it. And I know we're not done. Maybe he does get there eventually, but it's a little frustrating. It really is.
You expect me to believe that?
It's the
After
truth.
you talk about having
It's the truth.
different sexual
It's the truth.
acts with her
It's the truth.
to meet a 13-year-old,
I didn't know she was 13.
that nothing would have happened.
That's right.
You expect me to believe that?
It's the
After
truth.
you talk about having
It's the truth.
different sexual
It's the truth.
acts with her,
It's the truth. She begged me to come. And I know that doesn't make it right, but I never would have done anything.
what kind of computer were you conversing with her on?
Mac.
The laptop, or
Yeah.
is it yours?
Yeah.
Okay. And where is that computer
home.
right now?
At home.
At home. Does anyone else have access to it?
Yeah.
It's yours.
Yeah, everybody has access to it.
Okay. Who else is in the house that?
I have 2 kids, a wife.
Okay.
I never would have done anything.
Any other computers besides the Apple?
In a home or being used by me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Both.
Oh, we have 3 other computers.
At home.
But I don't use the other ones very much.
Are they desktops or desktops? Is there any child pornography on your computer at this point right now?
Like, I know I just sighed, but I was hoping that Nelson would have been like, so who else would use your computer? And I know that some people are like, oh, well, I'm not the only one who uses my computer. It would have been a lot better if he would have, stated on paper that, his daughters use the computer, or his wife used the computer, or said, okay, so like no one else in your family uses your computer for this, or maybe something along the lines like that, right? Where it's like you only use that computer. That's your computer, right? And if you're asking, right, if someone else uses the computer, who is it? Because if it would have been like, oh yeah, I use it, but my wife also uses it, and when he later down the line says, I don't know, for something, you could be like, what? So you're like, your wife typed this, or what? Did your daughter type this? It would have been an easy way to use something, again, ridiculous, where you have to deny. You can't just say, I don't know, because that leaves the door open to say that they did. So he would have to say no. That's, they would never do that, right? So he should have definitely been deliberate on who else uses his computer, because he legit just asked, does anyone else use your computer? And Maurice's answer is yes, but he doesn't ask who these people are, because he could be like, oh, I have an uncle who uses it, or my brother uses it, or like, it's a little bit ridiculous. I don't know, I'm getting a little bit upset, just a little bit, because he could have been a lot better with these questions.
Is there any child on your computer at this point right now?
No.
Any adult pornography?
No.
Is there any child pornography in the house?
No. No, I'm not into that stuff.
In your vehicle, there was some lingerie in the back.
There was?
Yeah.
It's not my car, it's my wife's car.
It's your wife's car?
So it's hers.
What size bra or chest size does your wife have?
A little bit of a crazy question, I will admit, but the asking about the CP, right, or just that type of, content. Content is a very strange word, but you know what I mean. And that type of things, there was no way around that. That was like really the only way you could ask, right? Is there this in your computers? There's no other way he could have asked that. And I will admit, that's probably the only way you could ask, right? Is there this on your computer? And he got no answer out of that.
32 C, I think. I don't know. It's her stuff, though. It's not mine.
Okay. How big is your wife?
What do you mean?
Size-wise?
In process.
No, size. I mean, is she how tall? How much does she weigh?
It's also a very out of pocket question too, to ask how big, like what size is your wife. It is crazy. He could have definitely worded that a little bit better. That's not that's not on analysis. I'm so sorry. It's 2:50 at night. Leave me alone. An analysis on, the questionnaire. It's just more of an out of pocket thing, to be like, how big is your wife, or how. That's essentially what he asked. But he could have been like, oh, like, what's your wife, what, I almost said size. What's your wife's height? What's her weight? You know what I mean? Give me, like, a little bit here or there, you know what I mean? But
She's like 5'7", weighs 130.
Okay. So you didn't bring any of that lingerie for
Absolutely
for
not.
Willow?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
There was really... I didn't even know there was...
Yeah,
what was there?
It's in the back seat.
What was there?
Lingerie.
No. I don't believe that.
Okay.
We don't carry lingerie in our car.
Okay.
You sure it's not kids' clothing?
It's not.
it's also a very, very strange question. I had to pause that immediately. You sure it's not kids' clothing? What do you mean is lingerie? Like, lingerie is very noticeable, right? Like, if I showed you lingerie, you know what it is. But I think eventually they do like give the dimensions, right? The size of the bra or lingerie. I don't know if it's like underwear or whatever, but they eventually do give, the size, and they're like, oh, it's like something that wouldn't fit your wife or something like that. But let's just continue.
Kids' clothing. Okay. Did you send her any pictures?
Oh.
No.
Is this a picture of you?
Yeah.
What the that one stumped me a little bit. That was really good though. It was a very gotcha moment, but let's see if Nelson uses that in any form, Because I mean, Maurice just said that he didn't send any pictures, and then he immediately shows a picture of him that I presume they got from the chat logs. But he could definitely use this for something. Let's see if he does.
Were you wearing a wig?
I just had my hair done differently.
Okay.
Sounds like a lie.
Okay.
When can I speak to an attorney?
So at this point, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
No, I mean, what can I say?
Okay. All right. The time's approximately 14:38. We're going to conclude the interview.
Can I call my wife?
I'll walk you over to the trailer.
Very interesting. I know they have this like weird handcuff system that they have on him. I actually didn't know he had something like that on him. But something that does very like interest me at the end was where he says, "When can I talk to an attorney?" It's very like I don't know what to make of it really, but it's a very interesting thing that he like said, because it's like, what do you mean when can you talk to an attorney? You can talk to an attorney whenever you want, right? You could say, "Oh, I don't want to talk anymore. I could talk to an attorney right now." Very strange question. It makes me really question the intelligence of Maurice, not in like a mean way, but more of like, if he was smart enough to ask for an attorney when it started, why is he now questioning if he could get an attorney? You know what I mean? It's very strange. And it's also, on Nelson's part, it was also very weird for him to say, "Do you have anything else you want to tell me?" I know that's a very basic thing that detectives do ask, at the end of interrogation, like, "Oh, is there anything else you want to add? Just so we can clear this up," or like, any final things you want to say before, we're wrapped up here or something. I know it's a very basic thing, but it is very, I'm gonna say weird that he wraps it up really quickly. We have seen interrogations that go on for an hour and hour plus. I understand that they probably have other people they have to go through, right? I understand this is not a police station. This is a little like police RV. So I'm sure they had to go through a lot of people, but I don't know, like I don't want to be mean, but I feel like Nelson really didn't do that great of a job. And I know some people might be like, "Oh, well, maybe he didn't have any time to look into it." Most detectives that we have seen didn't have time to prepare. You know what I mean? They probably had the same amount of time that Nelson had to kind of read over the chat logs. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure they had the chat logs, a little bit before they actually showed up to the house. So it just seems like he was ill prepared and didn't have a strategy to go on. I feel like he also should have had someone with him. You know what I mean? He should have had another detective be there. It's not impossible for an interrogation to go right with only one person. I feel like the best interrogation that we have seen, on the channel has been either the Dustin McFetridge one I have done or the Jeff Sokol one, but for two very, very different reasons. The first one for Dustin would be how much he talked. He talked his head off to Detective Dudinsky. I think that's the right person. Yes, he talked his head off with Dudinsky, and he gave a lot of information. He also denounced getting a lawyer, which is so wrong. But that was a really good case because he talked so much. Jeff Sokol, on the other hand, was a really good case because he kept trying to justify his actions, leading to him accepting some of the things he said in his chat logs. He was very combative, very talkative with Detective Kelly. Very good case. Like, I don't mean to plug myself in, right? But the Jeff Sokol interrogation was really, really good. And I think I did a good job. The Dustin McFetridge one was also really good, but I don't know. I would place this one really low on the scale, to be honest. The second one that I would say would be really bad would be the Lauren Armstrong one. Lauren Armstrong's interrogation ended very abruptly and very quick, and that was like the only negative part. I'm sure if Lauren Armstrong wasn't as smart to ask for a lawyer, I think that interrogation would have been really good. I think there was some really good detectives that were on him to question him, but it all just ended too quick. And maybe it was sprung on by the detectives the reason why he asked for an attorney, but still, I feel like if maybe they had more time, or maybe he talked a little bit more, it would have been a really good one. But this Maurice one, it's not impressive. It really isn't. It's a little disappointing, to be honest.
Where will I be personally?
We'll discuss all that with you. It depends on time.
Yeah, they're in like a little hangar location where these guys are at. And I understand that they had to go through a lot of these guys. I understand that they had to go through like a group of them, right? Because back at the Sting House, there were a lot of people coming in, and a lot of people being arrested. So I understand the quick turnover rate of these rooms with the people they're talking with, but I'm glad we were just able to see him in an interrogation room to begin with. This footage actually came out very recently, and wasn't seen beforehand, and it's nice to see the interrogation regardless of how it turned out. It gives me something to think about. It improves me for the next time I do this. An interrogation video, I review it, and gave me something to do at 3 in the morning when I couldn't sleep. So yeah, there isn't anything else that pops up. We're just sitting here. Yeah, so that's the end of this video. Very good. I understand I like grilled Nelson for his tactics and stuff, but I enjoyed the watch regardless, and hopefully you did too. And for the people that are already subscribed to the channel, I'm sure hearing me this low energy, or at least like more relaxed, is very off-putting, I guess. But like, I can't be energetic all the time, so like this is kind of me late at night when I'm kind of just chilling. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I'm lying when I review something, in the closet. Just so I'm clear, I'm not in the closet. I'm in my bed, propped up like on some pillow. So I'm pretty relaxed and I'm pretty chill at 3 a.m. But yeah, it was a good watch, and I hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed my analysis. But we'll leave this here. If you like the video, please like the video. It really helps me out. It really does. It allows people to. It allows the video to go out to more people, and it's definitely a benefit, right? More people, the better. It's nice to have a bigger community. We have gone so far. We're nearing 3,200, I think, and it's. I'm glad to have gone on this journey, I guess. I don't know why I'm like thanking y'all for nothing like a milestone or anything, but I'm just grateful. Like, thank you guys for being around, and yeah, like the video and subscribe if you liked the video. I know, but join the family. We're all great here, and yeah, I'll catch you some other time. Good night. I'll go to sleep. I'll catch you some other time, and bye.